All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whenever you're watching. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Restricted Zone podcast. I'm your host tonight, Jonah JustJohnny joined by.
Hello, world. Just Johnny tapping in, baby.
Yes,
Listen, man.
sir.
Just the analyst, not the advocate. You know what I'm saying? Just the analyst.
Yeah, that's Colin's advocate right there, just
Yes,
Johnny.
sir.
And tonight, this is episode 104 of the Restricted Zone podcast. We're going to be talking it's a little late. Sorry about that. A couple weeks late, but we're going to give you our review and recap of the 2023 NFL Draft. More specifically, the Eagles and what they did. Just an incredible weekend for Howie Roseman. And we're going to break all of that down. And we're also going to give you our winners and losers throughout the rest of the NFL. So stay tuned for that. But before we get into anything, I must say that for those who may know, may not know, we are on YouTube now. We are up and running on YouTube finally after, about 2.5 years of starting this thing. We're up on YouTube. So episodes 100 to 103 are already up. You can go in and just view those for us. We're talking NBA playoffs. I think in every episode is NBA related. Rounds 1 and 2, we're right in the middle of round 2 right now in the NBA playoffs. So go and check those out for us. Leave a like or a comment if you agree or disagree with any of our takes. Also make sure to subscribe, of course, and hit that little bell underneath the video. Get that
Ding.
notification. All right. So whenever we upload, you hit that bell. You'll know whenever we upload a new episode. So, with that being said, thank you again for tuning in. This is episode 104. Let's get into these Eagles, bro. Show them the
Oh,
hat one more
yes.
time. Show them the
Are
hat
you
one more
kidding
time.
me? Can we
Yes,
do it?
sir.
Can we do it? Come on,
Defending
baby.
NFC champion, NFC East champion, Philadelphia Eagles.
He does it
You
again,
know
man.
what? Heartbreaking loss in the Super Bowl, man. Gotta say it.
Ah,
It hurts. It hurt it.
I'm
I'm
still
still
pro life
hurt.
support.
It's been 3 months. I'm still in pain. I'm in Spain and the S is silent, bro. Like,
That's
like
but
it,
we.
it,
It's
it
like
hurts. It
you know
still
what
hurts
sucks
to this
is
day.
because we're back at the bottom with the rest of the bottom feeders. It's like you got. It's like it's a reset of the season,
It
and we
feels
were
like that,
at the
but
tippy top,
not
and
quite.
now we starting all. It's like you almost reached the goal, and Jonah, we fell. It's like the harder you.
See,
It's like the higher you go, the harder you fall. We
that's
felt
true.
that fall, man. We
That's
felt that.
true.
We felt that fall.
And yes,
Woo!
we have we do reset. All 32
Yes, sir.
teams get another opportunity starting in training camp this summer. But it feels like the Eagles have put themselves, at least in the NFC, in the best position to get back to the NFC title game, get that number one seed again, home field, get back to the Super Bowl, and this time finish the job. Go to Vegas, Super Bowl 58, and finish the job. Um,
Yeah.
Free agency was, they didn't make any big splashes, but they filled some holes, all right?
Mm-hmm.
They filled some gaps that were left by free agents going away, TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, CJ
Hargrave.
Gardner-Johnson, Miles Sanders, Isaac Seumalo, those guys.
Javon Hargraves, my
Javon
guy.
Hargrave signed a huge contract in San Francisco, all right? But they've kind of, everybody, and of course Twitter just being Twitter,
Yeah.
signaling the end. It's the Eagles' downfall season. It's the downfall of the Eagles. Not quite. No, sir. Not quick.
We got a heck of a GM.
Because not so fast. Because this 2023 draft, I think, was a home run personally, and we're going to just get right into it. First round, pick number 9. They originally had pick number 10. They traded up a spot with the Chicago Bears because they were getting calls. They were getting calls about this guy that they picked up, and they knew that other
Absolutely.
teams may jump ahead of them to get this certain player, and he is defensive tackle Jalen Carter out of the University of Georgia. That's going to be a running theme in this draft. So
Bulldogs, baby. You know what I'm saying?
look
Let's
at the
go.
North Philadelphia
Hey,
Bulldogs,
and listen,
whatever you want
can
to
I
call it.
just say one thing? And I'm gonna just say one thing. That's a heck of a pick by Wowie Roseman. Okay, I know a couple years ago it was a love-hate relationship with our GM, but as Eagles fans, Howie, the reconstruction of contracts, we've been loving you for the past couple of years, and you continue to wow us, Mr. Wowie Roseman. And I want to say, right, my personal opinion, I think that this is just why we keep saying the genius of Howie. I like to think of what I think he did there. We had the Atlanta Falcons had the 8th pick before us, and I don't want to say
Yeah,
that they're petty. Maybe call me biased because us and the Falcons, they just never gonna like us after what we've been
no,
doing to them over here.
we
So
got the playoff history.
I think they saw that we moved up to number 9, because they knew in their hearts we wanted Bijan Robinson. They knew in their hearts
I
that
don't
we
know,
wanted B.
bro.
I
I
feel
don't
like they
know.
took him
Look,
because they
look.
knew we were going for him. I feel like and Howie just had a heck of a backup plan, and he said, you know what, we're going to get the best athlete available.
Listen,
Me personally, I just think Atlanta was being petty on that.
I was feeling Bijan in the heart. I'm like, the heart says Bijan Robinson, all right, but the mind telling me trenches. Build through the trenches. You lost Hargrave. You lost a lot of guys on the defense in general from all three levels of defense. Go defense, and specifically go defensive line, because look, you got Jordan Davis there, and you still have Milton Williams, but Fletcher Cox, he's getting up there. All right, he's getting up there in age.
Yeah, Raddick's still hanging out, but you mean on the interior? Oh yeah, we need
Linval, Joseph, they were just rentals for last season. They're gone, so like the depth is kind of. So I love the Jalen Carter pick, and honestly, yes, there are concerns, with the off the field stuff. Of course, he was racing, and it caused his teammates untimely death, and another staff member at Georgia. That kind of messed with his head a little bit. You saw the conditioning problems at his pro day. He didn't look all that strong at his pro day. I don't think he went to the combine. He just had a workout at the pro day.
He did a workout
at Georgia. And, he kind of slid back in the draft a little bit. All right, he was probably supposed to go top 5, maybe even top 3.
Yeah, he's been top 5.
And he slid down to number 9. So there are some concerns there. But listen, if there was any environment to draft him into, if there was any, just organization, team locker room to draft him into, this may be the perfect scenario for him.
I definitely agree, and like you said before. I agree with how he's doing there because of those off the field mishaps that unfortunately befell upon him. God bless you, man. I hope you can still push through. He's made it this far, right? And I believe Howie, putting him in the locker room with former teammates of his can also help spearhead him and help him regain his focus and come back out there. Rookie minicamp's already started, right? I think last week or
last week.
So he's out there. It's good to see him out there. I seen it a little bit on the news of highlights of him hitting the bag a little bit. So it's good to see him getting out there. I just feel like you said, that locker room presence, I get we get a family vibe, man. When I see the Eagles and I see our team, it's more and more like a family vibe. I feel like
I love the culture there, man.
Yeah, bro. Like you said, man, for somebody that goes through something, we've seen this, right? We've seen teams take chances on players and it didn't work out. It the Greg Hardys of the world, the Alton Smiths, I believe, of the world, prime athletes, but off the field issues, their coaches and teammates weren't able to basically help them come together, because it takes a village sometimes. I feel this is, like you said, bro, in this scenario, I think JC, he gonna be good with us, man, and I'm very happy about that.
And you brought up his teammates that are going to be there in that defensive room with him at NovaCare. And last year, 2022, they went and got Jordan Davis in the first round, and then they doubled back on night 2 and got potentially the steal of that draft. We're going to see how that pans out, but potentially the steal of that draft in the 3rd round, Nakobe Dean. And this year, they doubled down again, and in the 1st round with their original pick. It's the only pick of their 7 that was their actual, original pick at number 30. They go and get Nolan Smith, outside linebacker / edge, of course, out of Georgia, who had, an incredible 2021. Last year, he missed about half of the season, I believe, with a shoulder injury. So that's why he kind of slid down too. And there's also, the talk about his size. He's not a fit for every defense. So it kind of makes sense that he fell a little bit, but it still feels like this was a pick we weren't supposed to have. This feels like a steal at 30. And look,
I definitely got Georgia North. With you. Yeah, and I definitely got to agree with you again on that, especially because of the simple fact of the position that he plays and his size. I love sports science. I'm a fan of, you got to fit the position, right? But some guys just got dogs in them. And if you watch this guy's film and his tape, he's, oh my God, he gets his stance. It's he takes advantage of his size, and he gets up under blockers. He gets up under you, and he gets to your quarterback. This guy, first of all, his side to side speed is crazy. His ball line is crazy. What I will say is I did hear if you want to pick at something with him, and besides his size, I guess you can say he's kind of like a one move rusher. But I think that can be coached because I know a lot of the times when I watch Georgia tape, and a couple of analysts have said this as well, like he's got like he's got maybe one go-to move, and to be a prime NFL rusher, you got to have two or three go-to moves. You got to learn
Yeah.
that chop, that spin, he's got that bull rush. He has one solid move, and he's very, very good at it, obviously. But I
Look,
think
if it
I'm not.
works,
I can't, bro. I can't wait for the development. That's what I'm saying. Like this kid, I'm not scared. Like, cause I'm not worried about the size. I'm not worried about because that's what they said about Nakobe. That's what they said about a
mhm.
lot of. They said that about Kelsey. Jason Kelsey was undersized 13 years ago. You know what I'm
And look
saying?
at
So
him.
you got to give guys a
How
chance,
many
man.
centers
And
can
I
get
feel
down the
like
field like him?
talk about it. Talk about it, man. And I'm
How many
telling
centers
you,
can get down the field on those halfback
come on,
screens?
bro. And we live in a day and age, it's 2023, and the league is only going to get stronger. It's only going to get faster, especially on the defensive end. We need guys. So it's like, I'm not going to say the prototypical edge rusher or linebacker or outside linebacker would be of his caliber. I think it's starting to, he fits the prototype for me because he could put his hand in the dirt and he could play outside linebacker and just play in
And
that
drop
zone
back
if
in
we need him to.
coverage.
And he could be a delayed blitzer. This cat and the type of defensive coach that we have now, oh my God. You think
Sean Desai.
these guys ain't going to, these guys before I had their ears pinned back. I think he's going to be good. I really like that pick. I'm surprised he went that late, but like you said, I think it was based off of intangibles that I don't think is that really counts sometimes. You can have
Mhm.
undersized players overperform. We've seen it time and time again, and I'm excited about this kid.
Yes, sir. And round two, pick number
Mm.
three. Howie stays in the SEC, but he goes
Yes,
on the
yes.
offensive side of the ball and he goes to the SEC West as he looks
Mm-hmm.
to add to that offensive line depth. As I mentioned earlier, Isaac Malu,
Yes,
no
sir.
longer a part of the Eagles starting right guard for the last couple of years. And Cam Jurgens, he's set to maybe fill that role, but not
I
quite.
think
He might have some
he'll slide.
competition this
Yeah,
summer
yeah.
with
Yeah.
pick number 65 out of Alabama, offensive lineman Tyler Steen, who can play tackle and he can switch over to guard as
Multiple,
well.
absolutely, multiple positions.
And
He's done
that's
it in
probably
college.
why he was high up on the Eagles' radar.
And you already know how you know how we rock, man. We love our fat boys. We love our O line. We love our
Yes,
block. We
sir.
love our security. So at
Built
the
through the
end of the day,
trenches,
that's one thing
both
you
sides of
know
the
how
ball,
he is
built
going
through
to.
the trenches.
That's one thing you know how he's going to continue to draft. And I can't remember a bad lineman he's drafted like in the past. Dare I say 5, 6? I can't remember. It's hard. If I'm reaching, not off the top of my head, I can't. So with that being said, that's a position that I trust him with. And now here's my surprise. One thing I will say about that, I thought it was Cam Jurgens' time. I would have moved him over. Now I
It
do
still could
respect.
be.
I was ready for Kelsey to leave. Thank God he's with us again. Like, man, let's fire up the cake, baby.
Man,
He's doing it one
it
more
feels
time.
like
But
since 2020,
Jurgens,
every season, every offseason is like, will this be the year?
I
Will
know,
this be the
man.
year?
Yeah, for real.
Kelsey,
Is he gonna go?
he's given us everything. He has nothing left to prove. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won one.
Yeah, man.
He's
I'm
going to
telling you,
Canton.
bro.
He's going to
He's
Canton
like
and he's getting 62 retired.
he's going,
Like,
bro.
let's
I
just
can't
say.
wait.
So,
62 is going to he's going to reside in
but the
Canton
fact that
soon.
he's
So
coming back one more year at least,
mhm.
maybe
That
even
is
more,
saying something,
it's
man. I will appreciate. Like I said, well, I do appreciate that. But like you said, he keeps us on the edge of our seats for the past 2, 3 off seasons. So it's like, okay, and during that time, it kind of made me get ready for Cam Jurgens because we don't know
right.
how much Kelsey's got left in him. Like I said, thank God he's coming back again. We'll see what happens. But I'm very comfortable with Cam, and I think how we adding more depth to that is very important, especially when it comes down to week 12, week 13, 14, when joints and sprains and BS starts happening. You got to have
Ankles,
depth.
knees,
Absolutely, brother.
the
And
field
every
starting
O
to,
lineman,
once we get to November,
come on,
especially at the link because Temple plays there, that field gets cut
man.
up. Field
And
conditions aren't the best, so
and linemen only and offensive linemen only get hurt in two different ways: bottom or top. If
exactly.
it ain't a pec, it's an
They get
ankle or it's
rolled
something at
up
the
on
bottom.
just a
Yeah, but if
freak
it ain't
play,
nothing
freak
below the
accident.
waist, it's shoulder area. So you got
Exactly.
to have
Wear
some
and
depth,
tear.
man. I swear they all seem to have the
Also, you
same
got to think
injuries.
about Lane Johnson too. We talked
I'm
about
about to say,
Kelsey
shout out to the pec
potentially
surgery.
retiring. Lane Johnson, I mean, he's kind of
Finally
getting
got
a
that
little
pec
long in the
surgery.
tooth. Yeah, exactly. He just came off a torn abdominal or torn abductor.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
and he's gonna
just
run it back.
get that
You know what I'm
depth.
saying?
That was a great pick.
Absolutely, I'm happy with it. I understand it
He
because
is
if
under
you were
contract
Eagles,
for the next several years, though. But
yeah,
guys don't always finish their contracts before they
and you know,
retire. So it's
and lineman is one of the toughest positions in the league. You got to have depth in the
physically
trenches, like you
yes.
said, both sides. Like you said, both you got to have depth, and I agree with it. And if you know the Eagles, and if y'all watch our Eagles, or if you guys are just sports fans, you know the Eagles like linemen and quarterbacks. All right, and we got our quarterbacks, so more line is just more. Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier for me. I'm happy with that.
Absolutely. Tyler Steen, started every game at
Yes,
Vanderbilt
sir.
before he transferred over to Alabama. And last year, he only allowed 2 sacks and 469 pass blocking snaps. So be on the lookout for that position battle December between him
Absolutely.
and Jurgens.
400.
Either way, whoever wins that job, they certainly earned it. And it's going to be a stacked O-line
Gonna be a good
from
job.
left
And
tackle to
real
right
quick,
tackle.
and the underrated talent also of that 469 snaps. That's durability. You will get paid for that in the NFL. If you're dressed to play, you
Started
will
every
get paid.
game at
The
Vanderbilt.
best ability is availability, and that's something I know how we peep.
Absolutely. So moving on now. And a pick that they acquired from Arizona, they picked number 65 to get
Yep.
Tyler Steen, and then they went back-to-back, pick number 66. Thank you, Arizona, for tampering for Jonathan Gannon.
Yo,
Tampering for Jonathan Gannon, first of all.
Yeah, bro. You know what's funny? Real quick, we didn't even care about that. It's just tampering. You could just ask his friend.
No,
we
I
We
cared.
would have shipped them to you.
Oh,
You
trust
didn't
me,
have
I
to tamper.
cared because that tampering incident had more repercussions than what many think.
I
Because
was mad because I thought the league came down on us a little bit too heavy on that. Because I've seen tampering done on way heavier notions. I've seen tampering done in the league on way heavier notions.
yeah, they didn't necessarily punish Arizona because the Eagles and the Cardinals worked out a deal to where they'll give up the third round pick to us. So the NFL kind of just
that's fine.
let the two teams just delegate and just swap picks and yada
Yep.
yada yada. But we get the higher draft pick. We move up to the third round because I don't think we had a third round pick before that. Or maybe we did, but we moved up a little higher. We had like a pick in the 90s or something. Mm-hmm. So they move up to 66, acquired from Arizona, and they go out of the SEC for the first time in the draft. They go to the Big Ten, and they go to the Big Ten leader in interceptions last year, safety Sidney Brown.
With the eye on the helmet. Whew. What's that college he's from? With the eye on the helmet. Illinois.
Seems like a very explosive player at a position of need for the Eagles defense.
I just gotta say, I never would have thought Illinois. Like I'm not a college fan like that, but I don't think standout defending.
I was really hoping for Brian Branch, honestly.
Okay, yeah, Big Ten. I'm thinking you want to do defense. You go to the SEC for that, right? Well, you would assume that's what I would assume. He goes to the Big Ten for defense. So like you,
the Big Ten, you get your quarterbacks and your receivers from the Big Ten.
Yeah, and they such haters, bro. Oh, he's a safety, but he's from the Big Ten, so man, he didn't have to go. Bro, he's a ball hawk. Are you kidding me?
Listen, if he gets coached up the right way, it doesn't matter
where you come from. Shot, man.
It doesn't matter where you come from. You coach him up the right way, and he has the natural talent.
Absolutely.
He's on a Big Ten team. Combine. It's not like he's playing at Rutgers. He's at Illinois.
4.5, I think, at the official 40 times. That's very good safety time. Excellent safety time. He can come down and guard a tight end.
Yep, first team All Big Ten. Again, he led the Big Ten with. It was a tie, but he had 6 interceptions. He was tied for third in all of FBS. He was the clear away interception leader in the Big Ten, but within the whole FBS, tied for third. And that's a big thing because we lost our interceptions leader last year, the league leader in interceptions, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who, missed about 4, 5, 6 games. He could have ran away with like 10 picks last year. I see you shaking your head. The way he left was kind of goofy. The stuff with his agents.
I'm touching on that.
Go ahead, man.
How much money he took compared to what we was going to offer him for a 1-year deal?
He wanted his money up front. He wanted his money up front. I think his agents failed him on that one, but you know what?
Now you got to prove yourself again. Good luck.
He does, and he's on his 3rd team in 3 seasons, and he's a very talented player.
His prime.
I don't know, man. Well, he's gonna if he does what he does again, in 2023 for the
It's just
Detroit
gonna hurt
Lions. He's
more.
going to get his money. He's going to eventually get his money. He's going to get it a
Yeah,
year late.
man.
He's probably
He
going to get
would've-
more years.
yes,
So I'm guessing he's playing the long game with that because
Yeah.
our deal would have only been for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
He probably
we would
wants
lock
3
him
or
in maybe
4.
2 and a, yeah.
He probably wants 3 or 4 years and a lot more money, and he wants his money up front. They want to be team friendly, which I get it. League leader in interceptions, would have been an all
You got to
pro
cash out on your
if he didn't
stats
get
right now.
hurt.
And
I
I'm
get
not
it,
mad
but
at him, bro. I love the way GJ played, man. He was a ball
he was
hawk,
phenomenal.
and he wasn't afraid to stick his head in there. All right,
Yeah, he wasn't the best tackler, but it doesn't matter.
Listen, say what you, and say what you want. That was not a flag. That was a clean hit in the Super Bowl, and I want you to hit him like that every single time. That's how I want my safeties to hit. But at the same time, he gave us a great run.
Don't remind me of the Super Bowl.
I know, but it was a great run. That's why
you're right. You're right, though. You're right.
But hey, man. Illinois, stand up, baby. We'll take it. I love the credentials, man.
If you can replace anybody, your interceptions leader, you might as well go to get the Big Ten's interception leader. But moving on, we're going to try to speed through this. 4th round, they go back to Georgia. They trade up.
Yeah.
And they go get Keely Ringo in the 4th round. Didn't have the 4th round pick. They traded up, I believe, with Houston to go get pick number 105, and they used that to get Keely Ringo, of course, out of Georgia.
Houston,
started all 15 games for Georgia last year. And, he's a big kid, 6'2", 209 pounds. And he runs a very fast 40, 4.36, which was tied for the 7th fastest out of everybody at the combine in Indianapolis. So how do you feel about this? This is some solid cornerback depth.
I like it.
And he doesn't have to start.
I saw him out there. Well, how about it? It depends on Maddox, right? And if he doesn't get his stuff, he has to get his healthy act together. I see this kid moving in, and I liked it. Excuse me. What I liked was he was out there early in rookie training camps, and he was in the coach's ear, getting acclimated to the system. He looked like a kid that's just ready to learn. He looked like a sponge. And he looked like he had a good head on his shoulders, and he was eager to learn. But another thing that really stood out to me with him is the position, right? I feel like corners it was an underrated position this year for corners and D-backs. I felt like if you picked right, you could have got somebody good. There was another corner that I was looking at highly. I think it was Christian Gonzalez. There you go. I liked him, but I don't think
he was going in the 1st round.
He wouldn't have fell to us. So, but I'm just like the D-backs.
He kind of got drafted a little late, not to cut you off.
Yeah, and I'm like,
he slid back a little bit, but
if you can play it right, there were okay D-backs this year. It wasn't that benign to go that way, but you didn't have to be that selective. Oh, all right. Yeah. I like the kid from Illinois, and this kid Ringo. Like I like him as a corner. We'll put him in a slot. We'll see how he does.
Do you think he could get snaps at safety? Just considering, let's just assume that all of our corners stay healthy. And Greedy Williams, we signed Greedy Williams in free agency, so he may be
special
the first backup. So,
and I'm thinking, so this is what I'm thinking of when I'm trying to answer that. I'm trying to think of Blankenship and we owe him snaps. After what he did for us and stepping in, we owe him some snaps.
He's going to be fighting for a starting spot this summer.
So we owe him a chance to see if he can be consistent. I will say that one. You earn everything in the NFL. But Blankenship, I think he's earned a couple snaps to see if he can prove himself. Then we'll wait for that's interesting. I'd like to say yes, bro. I would like to say yes, because Blankenship is a monster on special teams. Greedy Williams, I think he would be the first backup. But if he wouldn't be a special, I think we would most likely have Greedy Williams as the first backup and Blankenship as one of our special teams anchors, and he would step in if he really needed be. Put the guy Ringo in. I'd say yes. 3rd string, shot at safety, to see what he can do behind Greedy. It wouldn't be benign because he's big. Wouldn't be benign. He's big and he can close. He can close. He can be in the middle of the field and
use that 4.3 speed
gap to the other side. He can close that. Like those back shoulder throws.
That seems like that feels like a safety.
I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So if the move does happen, even if it's not a permanent move, maybe he just gets some snaps in the preseason. Just remember this conversation.
We put Jalen Mills back there, didn't we? Shoot.
And that's where he should have been. Look, that boy was toast on the outside. I'm sorry, he was toast on the outside. You move him to safety. you know, and he does what he's supposed to do.
He was all. I'm not gonna lie. He did.
In New England, they signed him as a safety, not a corner.
Yeah.
He'll play corner if he has to, you know, for
Mm-hmm.
you know, injury purposes. But that boy's a natural safety, and I feel like Keely Ringo could go in that same direction. Of course, I mean, he does have the size, so if his technique isn't all there, you know, he can use his speed to catch up.
Absolutely.
And, you know, use his length, you know, to
I can't
passes.
wait.
But
I can't wait till they start putting some tape out, man. I can't wait till they start.
The beauty of it is that it's a 4th round pick, so it's kind of an experimental pick. You know, not like a Davion Taylor.
Not that much money. It's not gonna break your bank to try to
exactly. It's not like a Kayvon Wallace, you know, type of pick. It's not. I know. Yeah. He's still on the roster.
But he does good on special teams. I'm just leaving it at
that. Fair enough. But yeah, keep a lookout for Keely Ringo. Ton of depth ahead of him, and he can learn from guys like Slade, Bradbury, and Maddox. He can sit there and just learn, just absorb information, like you said, like a sponge. So keep a lookout for him. But moving on, we have 2 more picks left. Just really quickly, because we're running a little short on time. Tanner McKee, quarterback out of Stanford in the 6th round. 7th round, they go Moro Ojomo, defensive tackle out of Texas. Hook 'em horns. I was, you know, a Longhorns fan growing up.
I mean,
I kind of drifted away from it. But growing up, like I was a childhood fan. Exactly. Vince Young, he was the one that kind of, you know, got me into watching college football because he was just so dynamic. He was like right-handed Vic to me.
Yeah, bro.
You know, that same time Michael Vick was doing his thing in the NFL. Vince Young, he was
doing
bigger.
His thing in college.
He was kind of like Cam before Cam, if I can say that.
Man. Absolutely.
So he kind of set the blueprint for Cam Newton, that big body, agile, dual threat quarterback, big arm.
Just play receiver. Movement tight end. Are you kidding me? He's gonna play quarterback. Look at his credentials.
That feels like microaggression, man. Tight end, like that's.
I'm so glad that they broke that stigma of the quarterback body. I'm so glad they broke that stigma.
But Tim Tebow, no. That's a natural quarterback, Tim Tebow. Look what happened. He moved the tight end, didn't work. He went to baseball.
There you go.
All right. I'm sorry. Throwing shade at Tim Tebow. I hear you. But any like quick thoughts on Tanner and Morrow before we move on?
No, not really. Just a position. I'm cool with it. We're doing that just for depth
QB3.
Yeah, and you know we like quarterbacks, so that's that. You like I said, you know the Eagles. If you watch us, we're gonna go line and we're gonna go QB. And at the end of the day, nothing to do with our franchise quarterback. It don't got nothing to do with our backup quarterback. Right?
Listen, it can't get worse than Gardner Minshew and Ian Book. With all due respect, it can't get worse.
Believe it or not, I was a fan. He did me dirty. I believed in 27-4 in Jacksonville. I think that year he played 27-4 touchdown interception ratio. I believed in that. I thought
put the diamond tester on that one. Put the diamond tester on that 27.
I'm thinking in my head, as soon as Jalen was out for those 2 weeks, I'm like, oh, that's fine. He's gonna. You saw what he did in Jacksonville? Oh, piss
and he played pretty well against Dallas. He played pretty well. He just threw some untimely interceptions, and
that hurt.
The Saints game was horrible.
Napoleon Dynamite, go back.
The Saints game was terrible. Even the touchdown to AJ Brown, he underthrew it. AJ Brown was wide open. He had to stop and go back.
I only let that one go because we took one of their picks. Our picks hold up.
No. I hear it.
It's a lot more.
We could have had a better pick though in this draft if we had beaten. We could have had number 8, number 9. We wouldn't have traded up. We could have kept that 4th round pick.
Would have made the Falcons even more mad.
Exactly. But all right, moving on.
Draft purposes, man. I'm cool with it.
Yes, sir. So we're going to speak a little bit on the rest of the NFL and their draft weekends. Let's talk winners and losers. You want to start with the winners?
Yeah, Eagles.
We just went in depth. But you're right.
You know what I'm saying, Eagles? You know what I'm saying?
And we didn't even really mention. We didn't even mention DeAndre Swift trade. We didn't even mention that.
You know what? Because we were talking
insanity.
Draft, but I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna be part of my loser talk too. Because the team he left, I'll get at them in a minute. But
I hear you.
If we're gonna go with winners, I'm not gonna lie. I'm okay with who did I like that also had a good draft? There
were a lot of teams that had a good draft.
Yeah, honestly. Nobody ultimately did bad.
I mean,
this was good talent this year, but
yeah,
I want to say who. Hold on, let me check.
Seattle did well.
I was looking
Pittsburgh
at Seattle
did well.
But I was looking at that's who I was talking about. Pittsburgh. That's who I was talking about. The Steelers, when
They
they
got
started
that
off with
legacy pick in round 2.
they started off with that was after they went that's after Broderick Jones is what they did in the second round. And I'm not gonna lie. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted to go with. I wanted to go with the Patriots. That's who stood out with me because that's who that corner
Okay.
went with, right? And the reason the
Christian
Patriots,
Gonzalez.
yeah, bro. And the reason I like that what the Patriots did is because they kind of went under the radar in the draft, but they drafted in
They
all
did.
necessity. They drafted
They did
nothing but
move up a couple
necessity.
spots too.
Yeah, and I thought quarterback was going to be one of them. I thought quarterback was going to be one of them. They were talking. They were going to go quarterback,
They
and
may wait.
they
They may
they were
wait for
saying Mac.
2024.
Yeah, they said Mac was Belichick didn't like the quarterback class, and so I'm looking at the moves that New England made, and I'm just they start off with corner in the first in their first pick, and then they go from there to where are we at? I'm sorry, here we are. They go from there to I think they went tackle, and then I think they just drafted at necessities. I'm trying to get to them in a second. My fault,
No, you're good.
Jonah. My fault, bro. We're just checking the stats here. I want to be 100% accurate, guys. Where are we at? Did anybody stand out to you, Jonah, as far as the winner, real quick, while I get my notes together?
Yeah. How about I'm not even gonna go with a team. I'm gonna go with a player, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson. Because guess what? Night 1 of the NFL
Way to
draft.
represent yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, no agent. On night 1 of the draft, signed. Finally, the saga ends. Is he gonna sign? Is he gonna go? There were talks about, basically the whole league kind of blacklisting him because he wanted a fully guaranteed deal and he just wasn't going to get it. They didn't want that to be the new status quo after Deshaun Watson, and the Browns. Like, that was just why? Why would you do that? But Lamar Jackson finally gets his money. 5-year deal, $260 million contract, 185 guaranteed, and $100 million at signing. So already he's got 9 figures in the bank.
I think the biggest signing bonus in history.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And he's now the highest paid player on yearly average. It was Jalen Hurts for about 10 days, and Lamar came and snatched the crown. So
I know.
Shout out to Howie Roseman for getting our deal done first with Jalen.
Yeah, because you got to set that, but we got
and
to set
Nicole Lynn.
Because if they get that deal done before us, we have to top it. And you know how
absolutely.
Yeah, you're absolutely. I love it. The reset market is such a shit.
And guess what?
Joke to me now.
Burrow.
Hilarious. I was about to say Joe Burrow's
contract's coming up.
Bengals are mad.
Herbert is coming up. Trevor Lawrence is coming up.
Right
They're going to get even more. They're going to get paid even more.
You want to pay your guys now.
And Jalen Hurts, he's only going to cost you like $13 million on a salary cap for the first 2 years.
Yeah, the first 2 years. Excellent.
That's witchcraft. That's witchcraft, bro. This Howie Roseman is look. Jalen gets his money,
bro. What's those accountants? Remember those old school back in the day with the green visors, and they would just punch the numbers and pull the lever down, and just punch the numbers and pull the lever down. That is how.
It's like he was already like a salary cap wizard. He was already good at finding guys in free agency, fleecing teams and trades. He was already good at that, and now he's getting good at drafting. Like, come on, man. But enough about the Eagles. We went over the Eagles plenty.
Okay, but no,
Lamar Jackson.
Real quick. Yeah, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, so that one. Yeah, I agree. That's definitely a winner.
Because he got his contract right,
and they had to do it,
and then they go and get a receiver, Zay Flowers, out of Boston College. Also, they just signed OBJ a couple of weeks ago. So you pair him, Zay Flowers, to OBJ. You still got Mark Andrews. Still got Gus Edwards in that running game. Lamar in the running game. I mean, and then you, on top of all of that, you get Greg Roman out of there, get him out of there, and then you bring in guess who? Guess where he comes from?
Where he comes from?
Georgia.
One
of the few Bulldogs to go to the NFL and not be an Eagle. Todd Monken, the new offensive coordinator, the new play caller in Baltimore, who's going to open that offense. He prides his offense on creating space, attacking all parts of the field. Just that Baltimore offense. I'm glad we're not in the AFC.
And
I'm so glad because the whole AFC is stacked.
And who did they newly add in free agency as well, receiver? OBJ.
That's what.
OBJ.
Yeah.
And that's funny how they got that done because what they paid him, and they still had some for Lamar left. Talk about the Brinks truck.
Honestly, yeah, but that's the problem though. your window is kind of it's about 2 years.
Dude,
Because those cap hits are nasty. Compared to Jalen, those Lamar cap hits are disgusting. So, the Eagles really backloaded Jalen's contract. Lamar's kind of getting his money a little bit more up front. Again, he got $100 million at signing, but he's going to get about $85 million guaranteed throughout these next few years.
With a $73 million signing bonus, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, so he got his money. Jalen got his money, but the Jalen contract is a little more team-friendly.
Yeah.
But Lamar, the time is a time. He said draft night, he wanted to bring a Super Bowl to Baltimore 2018. He said, I wanted to bring a Super Bowl to Baltimore. This is your window, at least the next 2 years. So
we were always on the same page with Jalen. I think with Baltimore, them and Lamar had some bumps. And I think Lamar probably took them to the bank a little bit harder than Jalen because of obvious reasons.
You heard his agent, Nicole Lynn, Jalen's agent.
Yeah.
She said that they were in talks since like January. They were going back and forth for months, but the conversations were always respectful. Everybody was kind of on the same page. Everybody wanted the deal to get done. Jalen absolutely wants to be here. We absolutely want Jalen. We're building a team around him. So,
absolutely.
It was just figuring out the terms, figuring out where the money was going to go, how he was going to get paid. But the Eagles had their figure in mind. They had their number in mind. It was just, how are we going to do it? So that's kind of what took so long, talking Jalen and Nicole into backloading the deal. So he's not getting all of his money up front, but he's still getting he's getting $6 million this year. $6 million.
Did you see that sign?
How many people are making $6 million out here?
Yeah, Did you see that signing bonus? How much money you get for signing your name? I love signing bonuses, man. Those things kill me.
Exactly. So,
he is fine.
But finish up with your winner. Who?
Yeah, I just like real quick. It wasn't even a standout. My winner personally, I like what the Patriots did. They went they did corner, they did kicker. They did, but the thing is, you look at it on an overall standpoint in the division that they're in, you thought they would have made bigger moves, and people were complaining that they didn't give Mac Jones receivers and they didn't go get the people that they thought that they were going to get. But Bill Belichick is still Bill Belichick, and they got necessities. They drafted at necessities. They had no D-backs. They had no. They were running. They needed a kicker. He's the only only Bill Belichick will go and get a kicker in like the second round. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like or was it the third round? But I think it was the second round. But for him to draft a kicker that high, like you only question you don't question Bill Belichick with that. He's the only person that can get away from that. And then they get an edge rusher the round after that. They get an edge rusher. So you can tell Bill Belichick was being very complacent with this draft. He already likes his overall roster, but he did attack the necessities. He got a kicker. He attacked special teams. He got an edge rusher, and he committed to his quarterback. And, at least for one more year, I think that it was more. I think less was more with what they did this year, especially in the division that they're in, where people had all these expectations for the Patriots to just.
And it's a top-heavy division right now. Aaron Rodgers just landed.
Absolutely, with the
Tua, hopefully he can stay healthy. He can keep his head.
Yeah.
On his shoulders.
And then honestly, everybody else in that division was more about free agency. All right.
Yeah.
And the Patriots were the only ones that seemed like they respected the draft.
Because the Dolphins didn't have the first round pick, and the Bills had a very late pick.
Yeah, bro. And I'm like, Belichick still knows how to draft, man. Belichick still knows how to draft. He 9-8 gave him a run. I think the Pats almost broke the wild card last year. They almost made it, or did they make the playoffs?
They didn't, but they got close.
But for him to have that team compete, like Rashad Stevenson was one of my favorite running backs last year. But it's just the fact of what players can do when they're with Belichick, and the edge rusher that he got, the kicker that he got, the corner that he got. Like, I think those, like, he got what he could for what he saw out of this draft class, and the type of developer and the team that he has. I slowly and I sneakily like what the Patriots did with this draft.
Absolutely, man. But really, really quick, who's your loser? If you can just pick one, I know you probably have a couple down, but if you could just pick one.
Detroit, man. What were you guys doing, dude? Brad Holmes, dog. That's their GM. Like, would you guys have the 6th pick and the 18th overall pick? You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, now listen, we like Gibbs, right? Who they go with the 6th again?
I love Gibbs.
But I'm gonna tell you,
I would not have Manning him at 30, even though I love the Nolan Smith.
But and I'm gonna tell you,
I would have been cool with Gibbs at 30.
and I'm fine, and it's cool. But I'm gonna tell you what, Brad Holmes, you put yourself in a bad position, Mr. GM. And I'm gonna tell you what you done did. Now you got to pay this guy. Now you got to pay this kid top 20 salary. What number did he go for running
Number
backs?
12.
Yeah, he's got to get
And he
paid
was the
now.
second running back.
Now his pay grade's higher. Then it really.
My
Then
thing
I'm not
is,
gonna say. I love Gibbs, right? But my thing is real quick. He's not an every down back. He's not gonna give you 3 to 4 downs. All right, he can catch out the
no,
backfield. He's very versatile. But
you
for
can use
what
him
you
as a
guys
slot
gave
receiver.
us, for what you guys gave our Eagles, you gave up Swift, an every down back that had minor injury problems.
They didn't
For
want to pay
a
him because they just paid Montgomery.
absolutely. So you're gonna get. You didn't want to pay him. So you're gonna go with Gibbs, cheaper to keep him, but his productivity, you're going to need to add help with him.
Fifth
Did
year
they get
option too.
Jamal Williams also as a running back? They picked him up from the Jaguars, who led their team in
And he's
touchdowns
gone. He went
last
to New
year.
Orleans, I believe.
Oh, Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
Okay,
So they
I forgot.
replaced
I'm
him with
sorry.
Montgomery, and they're
Okay. Oh,
replacing
David
Swift with
Montgomery. I'm
Gibbs. So
sorry.
they're
That's
kind
who
of just
went.
swapping running backs. But
So
my
they
thing
paid
is, why not
11 mil
just
for
go?
David Montgomery.
Why not
That's
go for
already money
Bijan at
out your
6?
pocket to him. You guys are
Why
in
not go
trouble,
for?
man.
Why
No,
not
go
go
ahead,
for
Dub.
Bijan at 6?
Exactly. Why not go for Bijan at
I,
6?
I
If
guess
you're
they
going to
wanted to trade back and get some more, draft stock and still get their guy at 12. But
it was very strange to me. It was very, very strange. They didn't draft what I expected them to. I did not expect them to go running back. I expected them to go receiver. I expected them to go defense. And I even expected them to go O-line. But you get a part-time running back. You get a versatile, very good versatile. He's 5'9", 199 pounds. I love Gibbs, but let's keep it a bean. He's not an every down running back. And you're gonna have to I'm not gonna say
that's
overpay
what
him.
Montgomery's for, though.
That's
So you can
11
kind
mil
of
out your
save,
pocket.
you can
I
save
like
their,
David.
you can save their legs.
It'll be a good bet, but that you tied money up into that position that wasn't a necessity as much
No,
as the receiver spot, tight end, defense. You put and then and like you said, those cap hits hit hard, right? So like I don't know, Brad Holmes, man. I don't know. I doubt I put the Lions down as losers of the draft, and round two didn't save them either. They didn't make any other moves after that. I don't know
I
what
like
they
the
had in
branch.
mind.
I like the branch pick though.
Branch was a we'll see.
Honestly,
You
it's
know,
like they
well,
picked the right guys, but it's like they
yeah,
took them
wrong
in the
time. You
wrong
think?
spots. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
like if
Right
they
guys,
just
wrong
flipped their
times here.
picks, they would be, looked down. Like if they took Gibbs at 18 instead of
You got to
12,
get yeah,
we
you got
would
to
have
get
been
Gibbs,
fine
man.
with it. It's just
Yeah,
where they took them. So
yeah. But
you know,
they always be trying to prove the media wrong. Oh, because they hate mock drafts. The one thing GMs hate is mock drafts,
just want to
bro.
be different, just for the
They
sake of
can't
being
stand mock
different.
drafts, bro. So
That's kind
I
of
think
what
that's
bit
where they come in
Howie,
at.
because he just didn't want to take the obvious pick. He kind of just
Yeah,
wanted to make the splash pick, the
yeah.
the
But you
me
go with
pick,
the
go
bet,
against the scouts, be the smartest guy in the room. Like, bro, just
yeah.
take the best player
That was
available.
the Jerry
Don't
Jones
overthink it.
complex. Remember that? That was the Jerry
Yeah.
Jones complex.
So glad he got out of that really
Yeah,
quickly. My
we still hate
loser.
Cowboys fans.
I'm going with teams this time. I'm going with the Dolphins and the Broncos because
I,
they
as
both
as a
had four. It's not because of who they picked. It's because they only had 4 picks each. And Miami, they lost their first round pick because they violated the league's policy regarding the integrity of the game. There were reports that they were, trying to tank, and Brian Flores just wasn't going for none of it.
Yep.
And that may have led to his firing, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the Broncos on the other hand, who didn't pick in the first round because they gave their pick up for who?
Everybody. Oh, well, Danger. He was dangerous, wasn't he? Wasn't it Danger
He was
Russ?
dangerous to his own team.
Danger Russ, I think,
To his own
Danger
team,
Russ
yes.
Wilson. Sierra, talk to your man. Got to have a better seat. You got to have a better year this year. His contract depends on it. I didn't expect that from Russell Wilson. I didn't expect that. So, okay, I can agree because the Hackett, you ain't hacking it. Not even in the draft.
And he got hacked.
Like,
he got out. Got him out of there.
Yeah.
Look, Sean Payton, if anybody can save Denver's offense, it is Sean Payton right now.
And that's
I love that
expected them.
hire.
Yeah, I thought he would have been able to help
But
them in the
you
draft.
only gave him 4 picks to work with. That's just for both teams, for the Dolphins and the Broncos. That's just front office malpractice for different reasons.
It was a bad look. It was a bad
So,
look. I'm not gonna lie.
And we did run out of time, but I want to just quickly bring up the Texans and kind of making a big splash of the draft.
What? Levi jeans? Will Levi jeans?
No, they ain't pick him. They
No,
got
he
Will
went to
Anderson.
Tennessee. I'm sorry, he went to Tennessee. They
Yeah,
went.
he
They went
slid.
Reg. Yo, no. I'm sorry.
He
You right. My fault, Jordan. That was the surprise with me that the Texans didn't go quarterback. That was my surprise. They got Will Anderson. They went line defense. They went defensive line edge rusher,
yeah
right?
yeah they
I had
picked
them going
CJ number
quarterback, bro.
2. They got their
I had them going
quarterback.
quarterback. Mm-hmm.
You know, jury is still out on Stroud. You know, Bryce Young was like going away, the top quarterback prospect in this draft. Stroud was listed as most people number 2s.
Yeah, number
There
2.
are some, issues, concerns about his coachability. Is he like the easiest guy to work with? We'll see. He's very young. So, that's all kind of just up in the air right now. But
Yep.
they get who they think is their quarterback in the future, and then they double down and they give the Arizona Cardinals a haul to move up to number 3, go back to back. When was the last time, if ever, we've seen a team get back to back picks?
It was crazy
in the top 5.
Not in the top 5.
So they go Will Anderson out of Alabama.
Yeah.
Whew. That could have been
happy.
Jalen Carter, had circumstances not been what they've been. But they go on the edge and they go get
I'm not mad. You got
a cornerstone on the defense.
Yeah, you got to try to reestablish your J.J. Watt replacement. It's about that time. I thought they would have been working on that legend. Yeah, your Davidian Clowney, your J.J. Watt replacements. It's about time. It's about time for H-Town to get back into the dirt, and that's actually what they made their. That's actually where their original identity came from. Mind you, the Texans aren't that old of a team. Still virtually, they're still relatively.
They think this is the 20th anniversary
in the NFL era. Yeah, still relatively young in the NFL era. So
haven't even been to a championship game yet.
Yeah, the one identity that they did have was defense, and it was D-line, and I think I got to reestablish something. So I definitely see where that edge came from, and I see where that edge rush came from. The kid might be a stud, man. He might be a stud. I saw him on film. You can't double team this kid.
I think he's going to be the better pick out of the two.
Unstoppable.
If we're being honest.
Between him and
CJ, I think he might be the better pick out of the two. And I don't think many people would disagree with that. I feel like CJ just went 2 because it's just the quarterback position, and the Texans have a very obvious need at quarterback. So it makes sense.
You gonna go into training camp with David Stills?
Like that, I feel like that's his job. That's his job. I had to
look that name up last year. I was remember when the Eagles played the Texans? I had to look
that game was
Stills.
way too close. That game was way closer.
I had to look up Stills, like, and I'm.
It was on a short week, and we were on the road.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, bro,
did they won? They won.
Texans? I'm like, why haven't they gone quarterback? Well, they'll probably do quarterback in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Then they just want to be.
I figured Houston would go defense. They would go either Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson, maybe Jalen Carter. Yeah. Go the defensive route, and then wait until 2024 and maybe get Caleb Williams out of USC or Drake May, and that'll be their quarterback. But they kind of jumped the gun a bit, and they go CJ. So we'll see.
They wouldn't be the only team that would have waited for next year. But I tell you what, skipping past Jalen Carter is wild. JC is wild, man.
It's just the last couple months have been rough for him. So it kind of turned a couple of teams off because he could have went to Detroit, could have went to Seattle. There were a couple of destinations, maybe even Atlanta.
Yeah.
I still don't understand running back at 8, but that's just me.
They're petty. I'm telling you. They took Bijan from us because
Howie wasn't going.
They will never forgive the NFC Championship game. They will never forgive that NFC Championship game.
I don't think Howie would.
Bro, they no, and ATL won't. That's why they took their running back from. I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy.
Right.
But they were petty. They knew who we were going to get at running back, and they took him from us. But it's okay because backup plans. Hi, DeAndre. Nice to see you, good brother. Welcome.
Hey, and guess what? Even if he's only here on a 1-year deal, but it's a very cheap 1-year deal because it's on the last year of his rookie deal. So him and Rashad Penny. First of all, that whole entire running back room is making less money combined than Miles Sanders. Yeah. And he's in Carolina. And I'm happy for him. He got his money.
Yeah, well, he got to go. You got to chase the bag. You chase the bag and make it make sense, CJ Gardner. Chase the bag and make it make sense.
You go cheap. You have 4 solid running backs making less money than one guy. A very good running back, but I don't even think has made a Pro Bowl yet. You get 4 solid backs making less money than Miles Sanders.
And look out, and I'm gonna tell you this now.
And if he leaves, you get a compensatory pick in 2025. Anyways, you get that pick back that you gave up.
That's called insurance. That's called. He's got the green visor on.
Howard, man.
He's punching the numbers and he's pulling the lever. Receipts are coming out. Read the receipts. He knows what he's doing. We don't gotta pay.
Insanity.
We don't gotta break our bank for our quarterback for another 3 years, 2 years, 2 seasons.
Absolutely.
And the whole time we can still win. So it's like
And we still
it's
have
like no matter
another
how much
10
success that we
draft
have,
picks
we
next
never
year?
forget about the future. We always seem to have the future
9,
right there.
10
no matter.
draft picks in 2024.
Yeah,
We had
bro,
about 13 of them, but we traded some over
some
draft
away, yeah.
weekend. But you still got more than
9
your
left,
standard
8
7
left.
picks, including the first round pick, including New Orleans second round pick. So yeah,
He's got
Look,
people watching the NFL draft. Like
the
it's cats that
window
don't
the
even.
window
It's
is
some
wide
Eagles
open.
fans that I know that don't even watch the NFL draft, but because of the moves that Howie makes, he got them tuning in. Like, let me see.
I mean,
what
are
we
you really
getting
a
this
fan
year.
if you don't watch the draft? That's crazy.
You
At
know
least
what I'm
the
saying?
first round.
You got. I'm telling you, I got a couple cats that don't check in until
Gotta watch the
minicamp,
first
so
round.
training
That's
camp starts.
if you don't watch day 2 or day 3, you gotta go to
You got
work.
cats
You just
looking.
don't feel
They'll
like
look
I
at the
understand. But day
notifications
1,
on their
you
phone,
gotta
but
watch
Howie
night
got
one
them
of them.
sitting in front of the TV with a bowl of popcorn.
Listen,
Like
I was
that's
sitting
how.
there literally with a bowl of
Yeah,
popcorn with my boy.
Before you would just look at the
Literally with the
notifications and
bowl of
check your phone.
popcorn.
Howie got us watching the draft. You know why? Because Howie might make a move.
Bro, I was
Well, the
stressed.
Eagles
I
were
was
supposed
watching
to
it
pick
like it
on
was a
number
game. I'm
20 of
like,
a
bro,
pick.
is Jalen
Wait a minute, we just moved up
gonna
a kick
fall
it
to
now?
10? And then and I saw the alert that they traded up. I'm like, yes, he's an Eagle. Yes,
He
sir.
does it again.
And then
when I saw that,
I'm
like,
on this emotional high. And then it's like, all right, well, dang. What do you do with 30? Did he trade back? I'm gonna be pissed if I stayed up until 12 o'clock and they trade back. No, still on the board.
Bro, we're doing
30's still on the board. Nolan's still on the board. He's gonna fall back. The league is gonna let us get Nolan and Jalen on the same night, and that's exactly what happened. Crazy.
It wasn't even our birthday. But I'm gonna tell you, when I got the news about us
It was
moving up,
Christmas.
we was doing the NBA segment, and I'm looking at the notifications like, oh my God, he did it again. How we did it again? And I'm like, you guys, you gotta figure right. You ever see that movie Draft Day? I saw the movie Draft Day.
Kevin Costner.
Like, you GMs don't want to help each other out. You know how we got that reputation. If Howie Roseman is calling
you see the 215 aerial code pop up. How are you answering
on draft night? First of all,
why are you answering the phone? New Orleans, Tennessee. Why are you answering the phone?
Why are you answering
Houston.
the phone?
Why are you picking up the phone? See, Chicago, you know,
you, baby.
they got a 4th round pick just to move back one spot, so they was chilling. But and teams were calling the Eagles to try to move number 30 because you know they might get Will Levis, and since it was a 1st round pick, you can get that 5th year option. But the Eagles they stood pat, and it was like, nah, we see our guy still on the board, we're gonna take him, and that's exactly what they did.
Absolutely.
Bobby
Roseman, y'all. Let's get training camp started.
Listen, when we win the Super Bowl, I'll be the first guy in front of the link getting that statue ready. Put it right next to the full statue. If they win the Super Bowl, I swear, I will start a GoFundMe to get the materials, and I will sit there with my little hammer and I will build that statue.
Listen, and Howie Roseman, you need.
I'll be right there.
And he had like a picture of him with a briefcase on just holding.
But they gotta finish the job though. They got it.
We'll get back. Like I said,
the draft is behind us. The schedule is coming up. The schedule release is coming up. So we're gonna see how 2023-24 shakes out. But
we got to see Kansas City again this year.
I feel good.
That's gonna be fun.
And San Francisco.
And Arizona.
They've been crying bad. And Arizona. And the Giants. And the Cowboys, of course, because of the division.
Of course.
Buffalo, Miami, the whole AFC East.
We got the AFC East this year. It's going to be
Aaron Rodgers. The Jets have never beaten us. Maybe Aaron Rodgers could be the first Jet quarterback to finally beat the Eagles. So we're going to see. And I think we might do an episode. We should probably do an episode for the schedule release. At least, maybe if this is 2 of us talk about the Eagles schedule release, maybe we get the whole crew talk about just our most intriguing matchups in general. But, that's for another time. We're going to see later on this month. NFL schedule comes out. That does it for episode 104 of the Restricted Zone podcast. Once again, episodes 100 to 103 are up on YouTube, as well as this one. We're also doing a wrestling episode coming up, maybe later this week, maybe on Wednesday night, talking about the new World Heavyweight Championship tournament. So we getting into all of it. We going, NFL,
tune in, y'all.
NBA.
We touching in on all sports.
We dipping into MLB later this season.
Let's
WWE, betting. Listen, if you want to talk about it, we will talk about it. Leave a comment. Let us know what topics you want us to talk about. We're going to get into all of it. I promise you. Leave a like, leave a comment. Of course, subscribe. Hit that little notification bell to be updated on whenever we release new episodes. But for tonight, episode 104, I'm Jonah Wooten.
Just Johnny, baby. We love our listeners. Y'all keep showing us love,
Just
dog.
Johnny
We gonna
tapping
keep giving y'all
out.
material.
I'm getting out of here. Y'all have a good night. Peace. I can turn this recording off. Colin can edit this.
Cut.
I'm trying to turn this damn thing off, bro.
I'm trying to. You saw. You watch the how high bloopers. Cut.
Right.
It's over. We should use it for a blooper segment too. It's over. Cut it.
Listen, y'all gotta go home. Y'all gotta get the out of here.
Get out of here. Bounce. Go Birds.
There we go. All right.